everyone. So, I'm going to get into a little bit of a personal subject for me. And this may come off as offensive to a lot of people who have gone through this, but this is my own personal feelings and my own thoughts. So, I have things that kind of keep me on track so I don't lose too much thought. My child came out as trans to me when my child was middle teens. They knew they were gay. I knew they were gay before they told me. Um, in any case, my concerns and what I handled it and how I handled it, everyone's going to handle it a little differently. Coming out as trans now is the same as in the before the mid 90s, but even the mid 90s was a little early. But before especially before the 2000s, before the 2000s, coming out as gay was a big deal. It could lose if you came out as gay, you would lose your job sometimes, you would lose your, um, people would just straight up harass you, and it could be a criminal offense. I mean, there is just a lot of, it's gotten a lot better. I know it's not perfect. There's a lot of things not perfect in the world, women's rights, things of that nature, but we're not talking about that. When it comes to coming out as a transgender person, though, that's a different level of LGBTQ that is really hard for parents to accept. Reason being, it was hard for me to accept because as a parent of a child, even if I had multiple children, then it would still, because it's my firstborn child, it would still have the same issues that I'm having. One being that I was very hesitant at first because of them being so young, accepting it. I told them that when they were in their mid 20s, that I would not object to, and I would possibly help them with their medical issues or things to correct the situation and get their body the way that they feel comfortable in their own skin. Um, Reason I say mid 20s is because at 24, 25 ish is when the brain stops developing and growing. And all of you, all the hormones and everything are more stable. And if you're going to make a major life change, like changing your body permanently, cosmetically, or with hormones, then that's when at least your brain is no longer going to be changing drastically. Your brain's always changing and developing and growing and fixing itself, but in any case, that's what my stance is on that, is to wait until the mid 20s to make any permanent changes. Um, so, in any case, when my trans child came out to me, the first thing that I did wrong was I didn't listen. I wanted to give them advice, I wanted to give them my opinions, and that's fine and dandy, but I wasn't listening as much as I should have been. God gave us two ears and one mouth for a reason, and that's for twice as much listening as you do talking. So, when I did talk to my child, and now my child's 20, and we've had a couple of discussions, very serious ones. They've started the hormone treatments, they've had top surgery to correct their body image. And my thing was, whenever I spoke to them, they felt like I was attacking them because it would just be me and my husband talking to them. And then I felt when they came to me like they were attacking me. And when I say attack, it's not like we were calling each other's names or physically actually altercating. It was a matter of the tone of which we were talking to each other was not a pleasant tone, and it wasn't a calm tone, and it was an upsetting, negative. It started like that before the other person got it, even knew it was going on. I didn't want it to happen like that, but that's how it happened. So when now it's at the point that when I do have a talk to my child about their situation and I have concerns or I have things that I'm not so sure about, I'm very clear. I write down a little list things that keep the conversation within the conversation. If it breaks down and we start yelling or start name calling or whatever the case may be, or start getting emotional, we stop the conversation. It's not going to get anywhere. Um, so basically, I would ask them a very specific question or concern that I have, and I'll express it to them, give them my side, and then give them time to process it and give them a deadline, or they would give me a deadline and say, hey, we're talking on, I'm giving it a Saturday. I would say, can we get back together on Wednesday and we can talk about it again, give you time to get your thoughts together. That way it's not, we have time to process and think, because this is new territory. Not that other people haven't gone through this, but it's, when you're going through it yourself, it's not the same thing as reading about it and hearing about it from other people, if that makes any sense. I've never had an issue with this, I don't think, about keeping an open mind. I know there are people out there that do, but just try to keep an open mind. When I say that, I did a lot of research, and I still continue to do a lot of research. I watch people who are big in the LGBTQ community. There's a lot of YouTubers out there. There is some public figures like RuPaul. And if they say something or I hear something, I might mention it to my child and say, hey, I heard this and so said that. What are your thoughts? And then they would tell me their side, and then I'd be like, well, I agree with them on this point, but I don't agree with them on that point. And you get what I'm saying? So next thing, express to your child your thoughts about being trans, about being gay if they are gay, because there's a difference between being gay and being trans. Any worries and fears that you may or may not have, and then the hopes and dreams that you have for your child. Every parent has hopes and dreams for their children. My child happens to be very capable of doing some very high ambitious things, and could, if they so chose, to be a doctor or a lawyer or something with a doctorate degree or even a master's degree. They have the capability, they have the means to do that. Not every child does, but mine does. I expressed that was my just concern, that they just decided they didn't want to go to college, and they just wanted to drop out, and they wanted to do their own thing, and they wanted to go off to a trade school. Nothing wrong with trade schools, but I know my child's capable of more. I expressed that. I've accepted them for who they are, but at the same time, my concerns were voiced, and they know at least where I stand, but I'm still supporting them at the same time. I remind my child on a constant that I love them, irregardless if I forget to call them he, she, or whatever pronoun they so choose to be called. That's a big argument between me and my child, is the pronoun that's being used. I express thoughts that your ideas and memories of your child will never go away or be replaced. The adult that they become, and calling them the wrong pronouns, is not an insult to them, but to me, having to revert back to maybe a flashback or a memory or something that has grown up. One of the things that was brought up that really bothered me is that they compare me as their parent to people that they've known for a handful of years, meaning 5 years or less. They've known people in high school that they come out to, and people in their now young adult life and work and things of that nature, which they've only been there for about 5 years since they've become public. And these people, they're not bad people. I may disagree with some of their views, but they're not bad people. They're not hoodlums or anything. But they did not know my child when they were in, elementary school, when they were an infant, when they did, when they were a young preteen and they did stupid preteen stuff. I mean, they did not know, and they did not have the same relationship. But my trans child came to me accusing me that I don't call them their pronoun they prefer because all their friends and whatnot do. It's not that easy. It's not easy for a parent to switch that switch and automatically go, my boy's a girl now, or my girl's a boy now. I also express concerns in the fact that the fluidity of their gender, I understand there is fluidity, but if they want me to call them from now on a boy or a girl and they are born the opposite, then I need to see that in my ideas and concepts, which they were raised in our household, so they know what those concepts and ideas are. Everybody has a different idea. And I'm not talking about the old fashioned 50s styles type thing, but they know what a father, a man, or a mother and a female in your family dynamics role is in the family. And if I don't start seeing them put themselves in that role in a more consistent basis, then I have a problem with them being so fluid between jumping back between man and boy, girl, man, what I have that issue. That's then an argument. Well, it's fluid and it's this and that. That's fine, but you can't get upset at me when I see you dressed in a dress and you want me to call you a boy, but I'm calling you a girl. You can't be mad at me if you are out there and you're doing man sport, which is generally football, wrestling, things of that nature, and you are wearing men's clothing and you have that deep voice, but you go and you can't be mad at me when you're reverting to the same sex you were born and dressing and you're being fluid, and I revert back to calling you back to your born sex. That's the way I feel. In any case, so those are some of my thoughts. I would love to hear constructive criticism from anybody, and I hope to hear from you soon. Thanks. If you do anything negative, I will block you. I will honor other people who have legitimate questions or concerns, and I like to have good dialogue. Thanks so much. Thanks for watching.